Good evening, YouTubers. I'm keeping my voice down at the moment because the family's asleep. Got Ben, he's off to do his course tomorrow, and Fiona's asleep, so I don't want to speak too loudly. I hope you can hear me okay. I was going to give you a bit of a cancer update because, as you know, I got diagnosed with cancer in 2023. But the latest thing from my oncologist, he's washed his hands of me because he just wants to give me chemotherapy. I mean, that's what he does. That's why he exists, because he does chemotherapy. Now, back in 2023, when in March, I think it was, when the cancer was originally discovered, the surgeon I was speaking to said to me, well, you really need to have the operation like yesterday. And the operation in that context was done in London. And then he got back to me and he said, you've been referred to oncology because they're going to give you 4 cycles of chemotherapy to shrink the tumour before the operation. And I thought, oh well, you know, doctors know what they're doing, don't they? So that's what we did. So the whole summer of 2023 was taken up with 4 cycles of chemotherapy. Now, the first 2 cycles after that, we had a scan, and it had actually shrunk quite considerably, the tumour. And after the second, no, the third and the fourth cycles, it had just grown again. So it was bigger than it was in the first place. So they wasted the whole summer, really. And it wasn't until like the 21st of November. So done from March to November. They wasted all the whole summer. And they scanned me just before the operation. They said, yeah, it's still operable. Just, you know, and then anyway, they had the operation, which seemed to go well at first. And so they were back in Gibraltar, and we were doing the cycles, not the cycles, the scans every 3 months. First scan, everything seemed okay. There was not sure what that is, you know, but it seemed to be fine. But after 3 months, it wasn't fine. There was a lump, and I went to see this about July. I went to see the oncologist, and he went, oh, we've got a few hot spots on your scan, and it's probably, with your history, it's probably come back. Very sorry to tell you that, you're going to die. Probably got 18 months left, something like that. That was the nub of the conversation. And he said, I've been on to London and they recommend chemotherapy. I said, oh God, chemotherapy. So I'm going to feel really ill and go bald again, yeah? I said, is it going to cure it? Is it going to take it away? He went, no. Oh. I said, so what's the advantage of doing the chemotherapy? And he said, well, it'll slow it down. You'll live longer. I said, how much longer? Oh, I don't know. Maybe a few months. I said, right, okay. Well, I don't want your chemotherapy. That was the nub of the conversation. Oh, okay. And this was July 2024, which was last year. Anyway, the guy hasn't spoken to me since then. And last week, or was it, Fiona rang him up and said, we need a blood test, you know, because I was really short of breath, and that was beating really fast. I could just go into the toilet and back, I was out of breath, you know, it was really, anyway, someone said, you know, you might need a blood transfusion. I'd go and, anemia, is it? Something like that, low blood cell, red blood cell count. So Fiona made an appointment, and he reluctantly saw me about 7 days later. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? You know, what? Why are you bothering me? You don't want chemotherapy. Well, he didn't actually say that, but I could tell that's where he was coming from. And I said, well, you know, I've got this like really shortness of breath, and tiredness. And don't forget, this guy's never examined me at all, ever. He just saw a scan last July. And he said, oh, yeah, you can give you a blood test if you want, but then what do you want me to do? I said, well, we'll wait for the results of the blood test, shall we? Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, he gave me a prescription for some iron tablets as well. And he said, I strongly recommend you go and see the palliative people, the end of life carers. In other words, he didn't want me to bother him anymore because all he's into is chemotherapy. If I want chemotherapy, oh yeah, customary, they'll get you on the chemo. And I don't want to go on the chemo, it's not something that I want to ever do again. Anyway, sure enough, they rang me back the same afternoon and they said, oh, your blood count's very low. It was 5.8. Now, apparently in a normal healthy male, it's about 15, somewhere around there. So he said, you need a blood transfusion. So we went in, we did the blood transfusion, a couple of bags of blood. And I felt a lot better ever since. But I mean, it's taken a week of improving. I had a few low days, but in the meantime, this other doctor rang up from the palliative end of life group people and said, can you come in and we'll have a chat. So yeah, we went in, we had a chat. And the very nice lady doctor there, she examined me. And the lump that I've been pointing out all the time, I said, I'm a bit worried about that lump. She says, yeah, that's a tumour. And which had never ever been confirmed by the oncologist. He said, well, it probably is. But they didn't want to mess with it, do with biopsies or anything like that, because like millions of cancer cells go all over your body when they do things like that. He said, with your history, it probably is. Come back, And he was right. He has. And she was reading the report and she said, do you want to hear what the doctor, the oncologist, has said about you? And I said, well, yeah, we're here to be fair and honest with each other. And he goes, well, I think Mr. Hesketh is going to be dead in a couple of weeks. He said, probably weeks rather than months. I've seen it all before, it's in my opinion. And this is a guy who reluctantly gave me a blood test and some iron tablets, and he has never examined me, over all the time. And I thought, wow, talk about stop bothering me, go away. Well, I don't feel like I'm about to die anytime soon. I don't feel like I'm on my deathbed. And I've got some paracetamol if I get a headache and things. And I think, well, what the I'm still taking the flaxseed oil. I'm just taking it neat now because it helps with your digestion. The last thing you want is constipation, apparently at this stage, because if you can't, you die. You just blows up and the toxins build up in your body and then you just die quite quickly, within a week. So being not constipated is very good. So I'm using the flaxseed oil and that is working. It's shifting everything, and I've got a good appetite. I've actually had a good feed today. I had some cornflakes this morning. I had the bacon. She made me some bacon butties. I'm sure I had something else. Some chicken takeaway from the other night. And then Ben went off to the kebab house. I had half a kebab, me and the wife. Half a kebab each. I said I'd eat as much as I could and she'd eat the rest, and we just ate it between us. We had a half each. So I've got quite a good appetite. I'm not feeling like I'm on my deathbed anytime soon. But that's what he said. Anyway, I'm in for another blood test on next week. So we'll see if the blood count's good. Because the doctor said, the end of life doctor who I'm with now, she said, oh, the blood transfusion will only put you up a few points. You were 5.8, so 6.8, 7.8, something like that. So we'll see where you are next week, and we'll work out if you've got internal bleeding or something. Blood, if you're bleeding and it's coming out somewhere, which I haven't noticed any blood coming out anywhere, but apparently that's what happens when you get to advanced stages of cancer and you bleed out. It's like getting shot, I suppose. You bleed out and you die, so you're bleeding out slowly through orifices in places, and all rather grim, isn't it? But yeah, I was just thinking, well, I haven't noticed any blood coming out anywhere, but I've been taking these iron tablets, which means my poo's turned black, and if you've got internal bleeding in your intestines, your poo turns black. So I thought, well, I'll stop taking the iron tablets, because last week my poo had been black, and then it had gone quite light brown. Well, not light brown, but it had gone normal sort of brown when I was drinking gallons of milk. I had this craving for milk, so I was drinking loads of milk, and poo just turned normal colour. And now I've stopped taking the iron tablets, and it's getting lighter again. It's not as black as it was. It's still a bit black. So we'll just take it from there, I hope he's not right. I think he just doesn't. He's just like one of these people who wants to give you chemotherapy, and I don't want chemotherapy, so therefore he doesn't want to know. He's like, just go away, just talk to someone else. And so he's put down on the form that he reckons I'll be dead in a few weeks' time, to get them to take me on. And go, oh yeah, we'll sort him out. And they're really nice, the girls that I met. One was a doctor, one was a nurse. And they said, oh yeah, anytime, ring. They work from 9 to 5. But you can get them out of hours, if you've got an emergency and things like that. And I thought, well, no. If I get taken bad, I'll just go to casualty. And they can deal with it from there. And they're like this, do you want to be resuscitated if you have a heart attack? And I said, no, I don't. Do I, heck? You don't want to extend this problem, if it's going to be a problem, which they reckon it is. So just got to live with it, haven't you? You got to live with it as long as you can. And you think, well, I mean, it's not like it's come out the blue. I mean, the poor guys on the plane the other day, the ice skaters and stuff, and people with their whole lives ahead of them, and just suddenly, seconds from landing, just got taken out by a helicopter and then finished up in the river, all dead. That shocks me. I mean, I'm getting on a bit now. I'm 63. So I've had a good life. Not complaining. But I think, in the words of Clint Eastwood, the deserve has got nothing to do with it. Whether you deserve to die or not, it's got nothing to do with it. That was Unforgiven. Remember the film Unforgiven? I don't deserve this. Because deserve's got nothing to do with it. It's just life. It's the rich tapestry of life. It's the hand that life deals you. Some people, they get the cards come out, and some people get a good hand, some people don't get a good hand, and others get a bad hand. It's just the way it is. Anyway, cheery cancer update for you there. So, will I or will I not be dead in a few weeks' time? Is my oncologist right, or is he too busy doing his chemotherapy and just fobbing me off? We'll see. We really will see, won't we?